Yeah, he didn't get up like no young old dude.
It's a capsule.
It's not something that you want, but it's inadvertent. There's no way to achieve anything and it be easy. It's just not. Because if it is easy and it doesn't hurt, it's not an achievement. It's just a given. And I think that it's kind of, it's more of how you deal with it though. You got to accept it. Don't argue with it. Embrace it, and actually use it. Use it as a fuel. I think that like on the inside of us, like you go through so much shit, is that whole thing when I was talking about, like to be a phoenix. You know, you get burnt down, and if you made it the right shit, you'll stand up again. And if you ain't made the right shit, you won't. I mean, that's it's kind of shitty, but it's the fucking truth. And then when you do stand the hell up, you're a whole different person. And just imagine it, just the analogy of being burnt down like a phoenix. That's just excruciating fucking pain in every way you can think of, you know. And God forbid if you did show up with a pussy heart. I mean, I don't know how to sugarcoat this shit, you know. You just ain't gonna make it, you know. Like if you know you seen the movie Gladiator. Russell Crowe in 2000, one of my favorite movies. There's a scene in there, as long as I live, I'll never forget, you know, when he got captured and the very first time they're about to go out and they got to do battle. And he kept quiet. He didn't let them people know who he was and whatnot. They didn't realize he was a general. He had all these goddamn fights and all these wars and shit. So he's standing there right before they're about to go outside. And it's quiet. You can hear the audience and shit, but it's quiet. And he's standing there, and you hear this trickling sound. And he kind of looked, what the fuck is this? And he looked down, and the dude behind him was pissing on himself. So, and I knew what he was going to do, and I'm like, all right, because I still think like a warrior, still think like a Marine. It's like, okay, because this is like showtime. And the door popped open. And if you remember in that scene, as soon as it popped open, they went through. The first thing he did, he got as far away from that motherfucker as he could. Because that weak dude was going to get him killed. And he died first. He just didn't have it. And it's too damn late to fix it then, because it's like, it's showtime. So it's just one of them deals. Like, the dude that lost it, didn't know what to do with the pain. The fear, it crippled him. But whereas, you know, the general's like, kiss my ass. I done this 1,000 times. Fuck you. I'm gonna fight you. You know, I don't care how this gonna come out, but you gonna feel my shit in the process. If you better than me, you gonna come out on top. If you ain't, I got your ass. And I honestly, I'm not kidding you. We're made the same way, you know. And the very first time, no, not to segue too much, but the very first time when I saw him a video, and I listened to him talk, and I think I told you. Your demeanor, your voice, your projection, your presence, he sounds just like the best commanding officer I ever worked for. A brother too, Colonel Hutchinson. I'm gonna say his fucking name. Hopefully he listens to goddamn podcast. Maurice B. Hutchinson. That was a badass motherfucker. And you remind me of him. Like in spirit and everything. Like sometimes, I mean, that's my dad used to say, there's such thing as there's a man and there's a man's man. That's one of them motherfuckers. So, you know, and so you know, and like I said, not like I'm like bouncing all over the place and this kind of thing, but that is how pain is, and I don't think that we're masochistic by nature. I sure as shit don't think that we're chosen sadists either. It's just that it's a circumstance, and the question is, the fuck you do? Do you stand or you lay down? Because it's not like, I'm saying when he was born, he didn't pick and choose where and how he was born. You just fucking show up. And the same with me. You know, and I remember having, you know, debates and stuff when I started realizing, I started waking up like, you know, the year I was born, where I was born, what was going on around me. And it made me question myself, like, why are we here? You know, and then not to be to death, but you know, why we so fucking poor? Why we live in this shack? Why ain't we got decent food? Why is everybody shitting on us? What are we doing wrong? And yet, you know, mom, do good, do right, and all sorts of stuff. Well, I'm doing good and doing right, but everybody's shitting on us anyway. That's pain in itself. And you wonder, you don't know if something wrong with you. You know, it's like, how do you justify this shit? Yeah. And then at the same time, how do you avoid becoming a problem in the environment itself? Like, you know, with inner city problems, like a lot of times, it's almost self-perpetuating. It's so bad, you can't get out of the goddamn thing. You know, you don't, if, you know, not to get with religion also shit, but if it was such thing, I remember telling one of these, my, swear to God, it was a racist classmate I had, because he started some shit with me, and I knew it was just because I was black. And I said, man, I'm going to get philosophical on your ass. We were seniors in high school. And I said, I'm not religious. I said, but here's the deal. I said, let's say, per se, prior to us being born, I don't think I told God, say, you know what? I want to be born a black man in Alabama in the fucking 60s. I said this to them. It was two of them, actually. And I said, I'm pretty damn sure you didn't say, hey, God, I want to be born a white guy here. I said, motherfucker, we just showed up the way we did. I said, so in this setting, you lucky and I ain't. And that's it. I said, but I got to deal with it. I said, this ain't never wiping off. What do you want? Of course, he left me the fuck alone. But he never thought about it. Yeah. So that's another pain. It's just, man. And again, like I was saying, you know, the sad piece is a big proportion of my classmates didn't make it because all of that, it wears you down. Just that aspect wears you down. You get caught up in self-hate. You know, we talked about it the last time. You know, it just creeps in. You know, you dumb nigga, you nigga, and then they fed into it.
The old people used to say, you cannot appreciate the sunshine without a little rain. So I think it's absolutely necessary for me to help somebody else who might be going through something to have gone through something myself. Yeah, I can't tell you how to go through if I ain't never been through. So
yeah, and I feel the same. It's funny. It was 5 or 6 when my dad had to sit down and tell me what it meant, and there was a whole circumstantial thing happened. You know, I ran into, and I think I talked about this on one of the podcasts. When I ran into one of my classmates, because in Campbell at the time, you know, the money was being pulled out because the majority black. And they moved it to the next town. So the poor white people, they still had to stay there until they could do better. And so one of my buddies was a little white kid, and we knew we were different, but kids are kids. You just fucking play. And we just had fun and shit, you know. Yeah, we were about 5 or 6. It was first grade, I think. And I ran into him and his dad with my granddad, my big daddy called, because that's my dad, big dad. So I'm with him. We're in this country store, and I see him. David, hey, David, hey, Ruby. We run up to each other and hug. Man, next thing you know, his dad grabbed him by the back and snatched him right up off the floor, pulled him away from his shit. And he was like, you know, he didn't think about it. And I thought it was a little weird, but I didn't think about it. Shit, we still talking about it. And next thing you know, he goes, hey, David, you'll be quiet. And then, we kids, we playing around. And then that was the first time I saw, so David's dad is a little bit younger than my dad, not about the same age, whatever. But my big daddy, that's my granddad, so he's older than both of them. He's old enough to be both of them dad. All of a sudden, I see my big dad become subservient to this man. Ooh. Cause he likes, my dad's Superman, he's Superman. All of a sudden, he was like a little puppy to this dude. He was like, yes, sir, this, and no, sir, that, and this and that. And I looked up and I said, hey, and Big Daddy slapped me in the mouth to shut me up, like backwards this way. And I was just like, what the hell, you know? And this went on for a bit, and then this man talking down to my big dad bad. And my big dad, yes sir, yeah, like he just submit, you know. And I never seen that before. And then it was done, and he was sad. I could feel it first time. He was dead quiet, and he was just hurt. Then it didn't say anything. We finished. We got out the store, got in the truck. He didn't say a damn word. Like it was like we just left a funeral. And we riding back, and I knew, like, stay in the child's place. I shut the fuck up. He slapped me in the mouth, so I shut up. And then right before we got to the house, he said, Junebug, that's my nickname. He said, Junebug. He said, when you get home, tell your daddy what you saw. I said, sir? He said, yeah. He said, just everything you saw, everything you remember from what you saw, you tell your dad. And I said, I'm going to let him explain to you. All you got to do is just tell him. He'll know. Because I wanted to ask him to tell me. He's like, no, I'm going to let your dad explain that to you. Man, I get home, I told exact story just like that. He said, all right, Junebug, sit down. And I'm sitting there, you know. He said, well, Junebug, we're what's called niggers. I go, what's that? He said, well, he said, that's what racist white people call us. I said, what does it mean? He said, I don't know what it means. He said, but I know what it stands for is that somehow they're above and we're less. Just because of people. I said, that don't make any sense. I know it don't make any sense, but it's still the truth. And then he said, I'm gonna tell you what. He said, that's your little buddy? I said, yes, sir. He said, well, he said, I'm pretty sure when you go back to school, next time you see him, he's gonna be different. I said, why is that? He said, so I'm pretty sure his dad